Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Bitcoin. Big surprise, right? We're taking a look. I wanted to see what's going on here on a Sunday. So happy Sunday to you and your family, of course. Thanks for joining me. We're going to take a look at these ascending trends that are occurring and just the continuation that keeps happening at specific resistance and or support levels. Okay, so we're going to kind of take a peek at that and just really understand what's going to happen next. And quickly too, I want to highlight just some really awesome stuff here from some of my members. Look at this, Asosa with a nice Bitget long Solana trade, 113%. Keep up the great work. So proud of you. You've actually come a long ways. Well done. Same thing with Andrew Lemberg here as well. We got 191% from Mana. I do plan to cover that here soon. Thank you for your patience. And of course, as well, Render, Phantom, Solana, Litecoin, Alexander just killing it as per usual. So, everyone's just awesome, especially K71 here too. Also, another excellent member. Just really all kicking some serious butt, and I'm just so super happy for you. I brag about you to my family, and even though my family literally has no idea what I do, and how it works, they're proud of you as well. So keep up the good work. If you want to actually benefit from an amazing exchange, Bitget, I do recommend that. You do need a VPN for them, but they do offer a $10,000 prize pool monthly. Super worth it. Just really a lot of fun for my members to be able to kind of compete nicely. We have an event from the 1st to the 14th coming up here. So be sure to check that out. You just got to register with my link and be qualified. Same thing with Express too. You don't have to use it, but if you're in the state that's restricted, so to speak, or country, you will need a VPN to be able to attend or access leverage trades, right? You get 3 months free with a 12-month plan. Thank you, Express, for offering that to my community. Just really awesome to be able to have that. So here's the thing with Bitcoin. We are seeing this nice ascending type of trend happening, right? So again, still nice little breakout here, so to speak, with this push. So as per usual, when we have a situation like this, we have a state of overextension and the price continues higher, we can expect a pullback. But once again, the pullback is looking less likely in the immediate future than originally anticipated because we've consolidated nicely at this price point. If we take a look at TD sequential here, we're getting a lot of resets here in the last few days. So we don't have this significant, increase in direction at one specific, for like an overextension, so to speak. Even though we're overextended leaving into this, because you can kind of see that we hit a 9 here and just kept on going into overtime, and we came all the way up to a 3 or 4 almost. We're getting these nice healthy resets. So this next leg up is warranted. Just keep in mind we have some resistance levels, right? 24,000 is a strong resistance level back from 2020. Okay, so back before Bitcoin went parabolic, we can see here that we had a steady consolidation of about 5 or 6 days right at 24,000. The next major resistance level, keep in mind, will be right in about the 29,500 range. That's where we bottomed out in the summer of 21, and just generally speaking, spent a lot of time before we broke down here back in June of 22. Generally speaking, that's not something we got to worry about, but we'll go ahead and draw it out anyways, just so we have it for later. But for now, I would say 24 to 25,000 should prove as a resistance level, and if the price travels into that area, I wouldn't expect the price to just break right through. At least not in the first attempt, right? We might see a cup and handle pattern form eventually, but I feel like we're going to see some resistance in the relative near future. But I'm glad to see us breaking out here and potentially retesting that 24 to 25,000 mark. Right back here in August of 2022, we saw 25,000 just barely breached, and then the price went down. We haven't seen a price that high since. So 25,000 we can expect or anticipate really close to that range to be a strong resistance level because there's not a lot of volume in that area in the relative recent past. Okay, so just some things to kind of think about. Taking a look here, of course, at the RSI, still staying over 70. That honestly doesn't matter too much now because we've had enough consolidation at the current price point that the RSI, even though it's considered to be overbought, is still undersold, if you will, based on the simple fact that Bitcoin is a very good value right now, for lack of better terms. That's essentially what it's telling us. But keep in mind too, we have a MACD potential divergence here on the horizon. It doesn't look like it wants to diverge, but we are losing this momentum to the upside. Even though the price is going up and the oscillators are going down, we have that natural type of convergence. So we could actually see a bounce here, which essentially would give us just a normal convergence, once again, with the price increasing. But it would make sense that the price would pull back between 24 to 25,000 to hit one of the most recent highs and or establish a new low. Okay, so we don't know until we get there what that's going to look like. But for lack of better terms here, the daily is kind of giving us more positive than negative, but still somewhat conflicting information. And to me, I just mean conflicting because, of course, we got that potential divergence where our size overextended, but the price keeps going up. So from a overextension standpoint, based on TD sequential, we're in good shape. We could see this continue to run for a few more days, maybe even a week or two. But from an RSI and a MACD standpoint, which are typically very strong indicators, we are looking like we might want to come down. Okay, so again, all that being said, kind of a wash on the daily for me. Now, taking a look at the 4 hour, we can see somewhat of an extension here. Not too bad, but we're at about a 6. So hypothetically, midnight tonight in the States, or just say sometime tomorrow morning, depending on how the traditional markets open, we could see the pullback at that point. I wouldn't be surprised we do see that. Again, it just depends on kind of how things are going. You know, traditional markets were up on Friday, so at this point it's hard to say specifically what they'll do, but they're also up and they've continued to be higher than usual in the recent past as well. So that kind of factors in too. But from an overextension here standpoint, we still got at least 20 more hours of continuation. Taking a look at the RSI too, you can kind of see that we are potentially rejecting off 70 in the RSI. So this could prove as a resistance level where we see this most recent wick up that got rejected. Price comes back down. While that was an aggressive candle wick, for the most part here, we can expect the price to kind of, I would say, well, it would be nice if the price just went a little bit further sideways and then legged up, but ultimately we don't always get what we want, right? You can't just wish it to be so. But what we can see here is that definitively we have a MACD convergence on the 4 hour that tells us that the bulls have taken control. RSI being close to 70 tells us that we have somewhat of a potential resistance there. If we break through that level, it could very well run. So if we see a break above 70 on the RSI on the 4 hour, we should see some type of run, and it'll look something like this here, where we see this increase here, because you look at this, the price hit this resistance level at 21,500, and it shot through in the next 4 hours, and it took roughly, what is it, how long would that be? That's about, just say roughly about a full trading day, so 24 hours later, the RSI comes back down below 70. So hypothetically here, we break above, we could have a full 24-hour run. Coincidentally, we got 20 hours left on TD sequential. We could very well see that push upwards from there. Okay, so again, breaking 70 on the RSI I think is a very good thing to pay attention to and see. If we do, could very well continue to run. So just be careful, very careful right now shorting, because it does, even though it's kind of a juicy target, it's like, man, I want to short my shirt off for Bitcoin right now. Resist the urge for a little bit longer. That's my thoughts. That's what I'm doing. And hey, sometimes it's the way it goes, right? You open a short and it goes long. That's just the way that it happens. And we have a joke in our community recently, just because a couple of short trades I took, where when I take a short position, we can expect the market to keep going up. That does happen, right? That's what's happening lately as well. So just be very careful with shorts is all I recommend. Even though it seems like it's very much something that you could just jump right into, this is still giving us a lot of signs it should continue. Let's see here on the hourly. One thing to kind of recognize, we are at a 9 on TD sequential, basically a 10. So, even though we've had, decent period of consolidation here, we came up to an 8, so we came up to an 8 and then to a 9. We should, legitimately, without any type of, nonsense, we should see a pullback here soon. It shouldn't be, maybe it wouldn't be large. It'll probably be a pullback to the most recent high. And basically right there, what that looks like is about 22,250. So I want to actually set an alert at about 23,300 and kind of just see what it looks like then, because if the price pulls back at that point, that could be a good long position, establishing higher lows, right? That's what we're looking for. But for right now, there's no doubt that the hourly is overextended. It's not massive, but it's still an overextension. We've seen 2 9s in a row on TD sequential. We could see a third 9, and if so, it'll probably reject at that 24,000 mark. That's my speculation. All right, so let's see what the Ichimoku cloud's telling us. All green lights here to leave your position open. Again, do not, bet against the house right now, for lack of better terms, because the bulls are in control. It's basically what it's telling us here. So this conservative indicator says to leave your long position open if you have one. All right, so to me, I say we have mostly positive stuff here in the sense of the price continuing higher, but if it comes back down lower, I would expect the most recent high, roughly about 23,250, to be a potential low, and that would be a bouncing point for it to continue higher if the traditional market's doing well tomorrow. We truly don't know what that looks like. Keep in mind, we are on the horizon for an FOMC meeting, if I'm not mistaken. So, pay attention to next week. It could be a very volatile week. Oftentimes it's recommended to just kind of sit on your hands until that happens so you know which direction everything's heading. It would make sense to see a pullback, but the pullback would be stronger if we have bad news, right? So say inflation continues, we get another 0.75 basis, we could very well see the price come down, at least a lot more significant than it should. But again, it's increasing more significantly than it should either too, right? There's no specific rhyme or reason why it's doing this. From a technical standpoint, we're looking, fairly healthy to the upside. Just be mindful that a pullback would make sense in the shorter time frames leading into next week. Okay, so be cautious, be careful as per usual. I hope that this was a good learning experience for you. Thank you so much for joining me here. We'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Take care.